The Be Part of the Solution Players presents Defend Your Democracy, a look at Chicago's rich history of protest.
In our fair city of Chicago, we boast a rich history of protest, from the formation of unions to the strikes resulting to the end of child labor, establishment of a 40-hour work week and an 8-hour workday. Protests are effective. Join one. You can make a difference. Defend your democracy. The spring of 1886 was a time of great social unrest. Workers and robber barons repeatedly clashed over labor issues.
Over 40,000 workers went on strike. The railroad shut down, the stockyards shut down, Chicago shut down, and the result? An 8-hour workday.
But a citizens committee of Chicago businessmen had a plan. Stock union leaders Albert Parsons and August Spies. Their goal was to make an example of these men who dared defy management. In the Haymarket, there were daily confrontations between strikers and the strike-breaking scabs. On May 4th, 1886, police opened fire on the protesters, killing 4 and injuring many. On May 5th, 1886, several hundred strikers and sympathizers protested the police violence. They were attacked by 180 policemen. A bomb exploded. As a result, 66 officers were wounded, 7 eventually died. In retaliation, the police opened fire on the crowd, killing some and wounding over 200 protesters. To this day, there is no definitive proof who threw the bomb, protesters or provocateurs.
With no solid evidence, 8 union leaders were arrested, only one of whom was actually in the Haymarket that day. All of these union leaders were convicted. 4 were hanged. 1 committed suicide in his jail cell. Eventually, the remaining 3 were released. And what for? Haymarket bloodshed spilled to establish our 8-hour workday.
Scene 2. The 68 Democratic National Convention. Change the scene to August 1968. Chicago was the site for the Democratic National Convention held in the Conrad Hilton Hotel. It was a time of great social unrest. The rich history of Chicago protests continued. This time the issue was the illegal Vietnam War. The anti-war protesters also voiced their opposition to conscription, which was commonly called the draft.
Hell no, we won't go! Hell no, we won't go!
The Youth International Party, known as Yippies, was among many organizations mobilizing the protest outside the hotel. 10,000 protesters showed up. There were many 18-year-old draft-age youths who were not allowed to vote on their own fate until they turned 21. Yet they were conscripted to fight in the Vietnam War. Mayor Richard J. Daley was determined to quell the protests. Over 12,000 Chicago police and 15,000 National Guardsmen surrounded the protesters, deploying twice as many cops as protesters. So much tear gas was used that guests in the hotel complained because it seeped inside the convention hall. Billy clubs bloodied hundreds. The jails were teeming with arrested protesters. But the 68 convention protest turned the tide on the public opinion about the Vietnam War.
The whole world
the Battle of Michigan Avenue. The protesters chanted, "The whole world is watching." Public outrage swelled. Protests erupted in cities and campuses. At Kent State, 4 students were killed. The anti-war movement continued its resistance. Despite the bloodshed, brave protesters did not abandon the cause. The result? The draft ended January 27, 1973. On April 30th, 1975, the Vietnam War ended.
Move forward to Scene 3, the UIC Pavilion Rally of 2016. The rich history of Chicago protests continues. Again, it is a time of social unrest. A Republican rally was scheduled for March 11, 2016 at the UIC Pavilion. Over 4,000 protesters showed up. Peaceful protesters outside the UIC Pavilion shut down the rally by virtue of sheer numbers. The cowardly organizers claimed that the police pulled the plug on the rally. But not so, said the Chicago police. This was the only Republican rally to be canceled in 2016. Amendment 1 of the U.S. Constitution states, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble, and to petition the government for redress of grievances.
Epilogue. Defend your democracy. Protest. Volunteer. Donate. Subscribe. Read. Watch. Write. Connect. Read the Constitution. Here are free copies.
The end.
Where are free copies?